All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. We are excited to have Mr. Ayon. He's a graduate of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He is an ag teacher at Santa Maria High School. He also helped raise club lambs in Nipomo with his former ag teacher, Mr. Peterson, Peterson Club Lambs. He is married to his wife, Heather, and they have 2 children, Maylee and Max. And then just a fun fact, he's also in my student teacher class. He's coming out here and he's probably one of the most respected ag teachers. He's been a mentor to other new teachers as well. And I'm glad that he's here helping us out. Thank you, Mr. Ayon.
They're all the same way, believe it or not.
Again, this is the first class of the market goats. They're all weighing between 70 to 85 pounds. Fun fact about these goats, they are local bred. Former student and current student, Ivan Hernandez and Angela Hernandez, for five of those goats. They are local bred and fed. Again, they're showing getting them set up as part of showing their muscle, their structure, their balance. So right now he's currently placing the goats in order. Market class 1. Market class 1. We have Brandon Ramirez, Anaí Chavez, Jordan Zavala, Eileen Cornell, Jocelyn Cornell, Leslie Cornell, and Simone Siles. Let's give them a round of applause. Our judge today is Clemente Ayun. He is a graduate of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He's an ag teacher at Santa Maria High School. He helps raise club lambs in Napoa with his former ag teacher, Del Peterson, married to his wife, Heather, and they have 2 children, Maylee and Max. And Mr. Ayun and I have been teaching about the same time. He may look younger, but to the market class, stand by.
Well, there was just more land. Oh, so you get
All right, let's put our hands together and show our appreciation for these exhibitors in the ring. Certainly have done a nice job. As we get into the sheep show here, we have some really excellent individuals here. All the individuals have done a nice job of getting their lambs to grow and feed in here. We're going to start off with this young lady that's closest to me. She's the one that definitely makes and gets the most out of her lamb and presents that sheep really good. When you look at that particular sheep and you compare it to its counterparts there, he's one that's still driven up, one that's really got a lot of muscularity, one that's got really good in terms of his presentation of his hide. Young lady just does a fantastic job of getting the sheep braced up. When you get out on the move, this sheep wants to maybe break up just a little bit, but as far as in comparison to the rest of them, I think when you get him stuck and make him look good, he's got the best in terms of his handle over his rack and through his loin. I think he wins the class for me in those regards. The one in second is a really good sheep as well. I like that one. I think if we had them switched in hands, that sheep would probably look a little better than it is here at this point. But as you study that sheep in second, I like that one's hip just a little bit better. How level he is and square in that regard, and he's really bigger in his foot size. Maybe just doesn't have that same kind of muscularity, that overall width down through his top. Just doesn't get that really good race on him to get that really stylish look that our class winner has. And so there's some give and take there, but I think it's the higher quality sheep and how it's presented is our class winner today. In third, I like this sheep quite a bit in terms of how this sheep is made and designed as far as the levelness of his top. One that maybe gets a little bit plainer on the side profile as far as how just smaller it is, a little more compact. Maybe doesn't have that same shape and dimension as we have in our top two lambs as far as having that muscularity, and just wants to get a little bit shorter about his front end. Sheep that we have in fourth and fifth, two lambs that are very long and extended and certainly have some some growth to them. They may need to be fed just a little bit harder, but they have enough on them to be market ready. But as far as just having that overall look and design, you can see they have it. They just need to have a little bit more explosiveness down their top to be able to compete with the top 3 lambs, just to be able to have a little bit more dimension to them. We have the next lamb that's jumping around a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to read on that sheep just to be able to get a good look on him, but as far as his profile, his design, he's one that's made very level, very attractive. Again, could be said just like the other 2 lambs above it, just needs to have a little bit more feed intake on those, maybe just a little bit stoutness of bone in comparison to the other lambs towards the top. And we round out the class with probably one of the most dimensional sheep in the class, but he's towards the wrong side of the spectrum. If you look, he's one that's maybe a little bit smaller. You can tell he's not going to be able to grow and have that dimension. They're a little bit or more early maturing, but a sheep that has a lot of good quality in terms of muscle shape and dimension, but certainly very good in terms of just having that marketability. So obviously they're going to be good as far as their carcass, but these have a little bit more extension. From top to bottom, excellent class. Let's put our hands together and show appreciation one more time.
Again, the grand champion for the winner of this class, is Jordan Zavala. Second place, Jocelyn Cornell. Third place, Leslie Cornell. Fourth place, Simone Siles. Fifth place, Brandon Ramirez. Sixth place, Eileen Cornell. Seventh place, Anaí Chavez. Let's give them a round of applause. Top 2 will come back for a final round. Jocelyn and Jordan. Thank you.
That's what they're going to want to do with us. They haven't changed our start date, and no information has come out about that. I mean, that's what they're planning.
Class 2. Coming in the ring is Class 2 Market Lambs. In Class 2 we have Luis Martinez, Diana Aguilar, Yair Siles, Jalissa Magana, Alondra Ramirez, Cassie Tapia, Alex Cornell, Jonathan Aguilar, and then Ami Castellanos. Class 3, stand by. Again, I wanted to take this time to acknowledge our sponsors. Some of their banners that are up, they helped make this event possible. We also wanted to acknowledge some of the donors, the buyers that helped us raise money. Santa Paula Education Foundation is a local organization that we helped have our money funded through. So again, we appreciate your support. Thank you.
I need to practice on my broadcasting.
You need to take a course. Offering at BC. Class.
Just start talking. Be yourself. Be yourself. So don't talk about politics, COVID-19, or... Okay.
For those of you who are just joining us, we have Mr. Clemente Ayon. He's a graduate of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He is an ag teacher at Santa Maria High School. He helps raise club lambs in Nopomo with his former ag teacher, Del Peterson. And he is married to his wife, Heather, and they have 2 children, Maylee and Max. Let's give him a round of applause for joining us today. Also helping us out, we have Sierra Garcia, former student, Alondra Flores, current student. We have Stephanie Mendez outside, checking people in, former student. We have Brittany Mendez helping out too. Ellie Andrade helping out too. Thank you. And then we have Mr. Bob Allen with KADY-TV. Recording our show today. Let's give him a round of applause. Again, just a couple reminders. You are social distancing. Make sure you have your masks on. Okay. Again, making sure you're pulling your mask over your nose. Okay, and keeping all that covered up, and making sure you wash your hands after you're done.
All right, again, let's put our hands together for these individuals in the ring. Certainly a nice job done by all from top to bottom. Excellent set of sheep, and certainly the exhibitors have done a fantastic job of feeding them as we compare them to the ones that we've seen in the ring before. Certainly a higher quality set in terms of how they've done a good job of feeding them all the way through. Certainly got enough condition, and certainly there's some differences about them individually, but more or less, again, as we look at these animals, we're going to be looking for that muscularity, that overall width, and then the correctness of finish, and then the balance. I think when you study this particular lamb, this one by far excels in terms of just muscularity. When you get right behind his shoulder, right through his rack and through his loin and his hip, he just has bar none better than any other sheep in this class. Young man does a pretty good job of getting him set up in terms of just having him good in terms of his presentation. And so I think the sheep walks in and wins the class. A little bit deceiving because he's just a little bit dirty in comparison to the one that we have in second. At first, the one in second just kind of strikes you because he's clean. But as you study him and you get him out on the move, he's maybe one that doesn't want to just prop himself up really good. He's nice in terms of his design, but he just gives up quite a bit more in terms of just power and overall dimension. I don't think there's enough of that look to be able to compensate for the power and the combination of the look of our class winner. 1 and 3rd, that sheep is really tall fronted in terms of being extended, has some length of body, has some bone. A sheep that when he gets out on the move, he doesn't balance out quite as nicely as our top 2 individuals. He wants to get up in his spine, he wants to drop his chest just a little bit and maybe roll in his hip. But a sheep that has some look about him when he gets braced up, and again, some grow and some good overall cutability is being trimmed over his forehead. Sheep that we have in 4th, I like that one in particular. It has some muscularity as well, maybe not quite that extension and that prettiness that we have in our top 3 lambs. As we get into the 5th hole, I like that sheep for being really well fed, really solid, good rib type of a lamb. One that maybe just doesn't have that top shape as our top 4 lambs. When you get your hands right over behind his shoulder, he doesn't just explode in terms of muscularity, but one that's been presented really well as far as being really clipped very smoothly, very nice sheep. As we get into the other lambs, after that in 6th and 7th hole, we see some lambs that just need to have some more muscularity. As we end up the class down there with the last 2, we'd like to see them explode just a little bit more in their top shape, give them a little bit more dimension out through their hip and through their lower leg to be able to make them a little bit more competitive. But they're sheep that have been fed really well, they have enough condition, and again, very well market acceptable. Let's put our hands together one more time for the exhibitors.
The winner of this class, 1st and 2nd, will come back for a final round. We have Luis Martinez and Diana Aguilar. Good job, everyone. Again, parents outside, make sure you are having your masks on. Make sure you are separated out within your group. Make sure you're washing your hands. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water. And hopefully you brought your sunscreen. Class 3, you are up. Again, you guys that are going out, take your lambs over to go get photographed. Okay, make sure you're staying within the caution tape or go through the barn or stay within the caution tape as you go down there to by where the scale is. Luis and Diana, I will not go over there yet.
The battery on mine doesn't hang on, but the battery doesn't last at all. I looked at the videos and so I just leave it on the but they aren't.
We are in the market class 3. In this class we have Gabriel Lemos, Angel Guerrero, Fatima Salcedo, Victoria Castellanos, Elijah Flores, Emma Flores. Gus will be right back soon. Gus Montiel. Just close the gates. If the lamb gets close to you guys, grab it. If the lamb gets close, grab it. You guys slow down a little bit and just give them some space. And last we have Gus Montiel. Again, we have Dr. Cora here visiting with us, our superintendent. Again, this couldn't have been done without getting some approval done, so that's important again that we're following our guidelines. One of the probably most important people that I forgot to introduce in the beginning is my wife, Laura. She's over there. She actually works for the Ventura County Health Department. So she's also policing. She's a bad guy. Just kidding. But again, she's kind of also helping help us make sure we're sticking to the guidelines. Again, thank you. I love you. Again, for those of you that got first and second place, Jocelyn Cornell, Jordan Zavala, Luis Martinez, Diana Aguilar, don't go too far, You guys are coming up after this final round. This is the Market 3, Market Lamb Class 3, the heavyweights. So the market lambs, we start buying them in March. So they've kind of had them already for about 5-6 months now. Again, we have a total of 25 lambs. Again, having to come in every day, feed every day, twice every day. Kids are responsible for feeding and cleaning. So definitely this project has taught them some livestock handling skills, livestock management, how to handle their animals. So again, this is a way to be able to showcase their strengths of their animal, the muscle, the shape, the structure, and that's kind of what the judge is looking for.
All right, as we get into this final class, let's put our hands together and show these kids our appreciation for all their hard work. As certainly, as we just heard right now, it takes a tremendous amount of effort to be able to come out here every day and to make sure you work with your animals, and it shows off what you have is here as far as the result here in the show ring. And certainly the young lady here closest to me, really exceptional sheep in terms of how this one's presented, and also just really well put together. Here's a sheep that walked into the ring, and instantly my brain goes off and says, hey, that's your winner right away. He's one that's just constructed really good on the profile. He walks like any other sheep I haven't seen today, just really smooth and fluid in the way he travels, holds his spine really nice, his front end, really good skin, and then you combine that, of course, with that trait that we're looking for, which is that muscularity. Very good in terms of the way he handles. He's not overwhelming in comparison to maybe a couple other individuals here, but he's one that I call that balanced look sheep that just really has that combination of that excellent look, that muscularity, the correctness of finish. He's one that I think wins pretty handily. One in second, he probably powers up just a little bit more. Maybe not quite as attractive up through his front end as compared to our class winner. I think he gives up that length of neck. He gives up a little bit of the profile when he cruises around. Maybe not quite as stout in terms of his bone work, but as far as just sheer power and mass, that sheep is really good and well presented, and I think he holds himself together in his lines really well compared to the lamb in third. The lamb in third, if you want to really accentuate his points, get right behind his rack. His rack is explosive, it's massive, just really powerful. But then after that, he washes through his loin, he gives up a little bit of dimension when you get behind him, doesn't travel as nice as our top two lambs, he just gives up a little bit there. So we kind of find those top two lambs as having just a bit more higher quality in terms of how they travel and how they present themselves today. Lamb at fourth, that's not a slouch either. That's a sheep that's just really got some power, been fed really well. Again, wants to break in his top line, doesn't have some of those bells and whistles as that thickness of bone, and certainly doesn't have that extended front end, but a sheep that's been well fed, really solid mark lamb. Sheep that we have in fifth, I like that lamb quite a bit. Muscularity. Again, we just like to see it maybe a little bit longer, a little more extended. A sheep that just gets out-horsed in terms of muscles and overall balance compared to the other ones above it. We have two lambs that I like in terms of their finish, the way they handle, they're good as far as muscularity, they're hard touching. They just need those bells and whistles and being straight line to have a little bit more expressiveness as far as how they handle compared to the other lambs above it. They just got into a really, really tough class because some of those lambs down below certainly could be very competitive at some other fairs. So congratulations, some really stellar individuals toward the top. Let's put our hands together one more time for these students.
Again, the class winners for this class is Emma Flores. In second place, we got Elijah Flores. In third place, we got Gus Montiel. In fourth place, we have Angel Guerrero. In fifth place, we have Gabriel Lemos. Sixth place, we have Fatima Salcedo. Seventh place, we have Victoria Castellano. Let's give them all a round of applause. Again, the first two winners of each class, start making your way back. Elijah and Emma, you guys can stay. Again, if you haven't made your way over to the photograph, over to the far corner by the scale, make sure you head over there. So in class one, we have Jordan Zavala in first place and won the class. In second place in class one, we have Jocelyn Coronel. In class two, we have Luis Martinez. In second place, we have Diana Aguilar for the class two. For class three, class winner, we have Emma Flores. In class three, second place, we have Elijah Flores. Again, if you're joining us, Clemente Ayon is a graduate of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He's an ag teacher at Santa Maria High School. He helps raised club lambs in Napoma with his former ag teacher, Dale Peterson. He's married to his wife, Heather, and they have 2 children, Maylee and Max. Let's give him a round of applause. So this is the champion round, and he's going to go ahead and take time to look at him, and then he will choose our champion and a reserve grand champion. Again, this is the champion. In Class 1, we have Jordan Zavala, class winner. Class 1, second place, Jocelyn Cornell. In Class 2, we have Luis Martinez, class winner. And in second place, we have Diana Aguilar for Class 2. In the third class, we have Emma Flores is the Class 1. And Elijah Flores in second place for Class 3.
All right, as we get into our champion selection, again, it's pretty awesome to have these guys here inside the show ring and being able to show their animals live. What a wonderful opportunity, and so to be able to have this here. 6 very nice individuals, really good sheep. In our lightweight class, we talked about those 2 being really attractive sheep that were just really made well. I opted to use the one that was maybe a little bit firmer and fresher down his top. Not at the one in second place being maybe a little bit better hip, a little stouter bone in terms of the way he travels. 2 really nice sheep. In the middle weight, I went with the one that was the freshest, the thickest, really good in terms of his barrel shape, and still travels relatively good enough and being level on the move. 1 in second, I like that sheep the way it travels, maybe not quite as fresh and thick. So some differences there. Then we just talked about the heavyweights as far as them being really attractive and still yet muscular and having that really correct looking hide and just being really show ready. I opted to use the one that was maybe a little bit more elevated, a little nicer when he walks out, it stays truer and leveler. The one in second was certainly a little stouter in terms of his top shape, a little bit more dimensional when you get behind him, but just gives up a little bit in terms of his front end and extension. But 6 very nice sheep. Let's put our hands together one more time and we'll go on select your champion and reserve champion.
So the grand champion lamb goes to Emma Flores.
Emma, look at the camera.
And the reserve grand champion goes to Elijah Flores. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Congratulations, everyone. Again, if you haven't taken your picture, make sure you go ahead and go over to Jose Luis, and he'll take your picture over with your lamb. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll go into Showmanship Goats. Congratulations, guys. Good job. Follow the guidelines, making sure you're socially distancing, right, Alondra? And Leslie, make sure you guys are spread out. Again, we appreciate you doing that. Make sure that you have your masks on. After the show, you can go ahead and go up to the food truck. The food truck is serving food now. For the parents, if they want to go up, they're selling food as well, so you guys can go and head up over there after your kid shows. Again, this is the advanced showmanship. Ivan Hernandez, Milagros Hidalgo, Genevieve Valenzuela, and Jessica Velasquez. We are lucky to have as a judge today Clemente Ayon. He's a graduate from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He's an ag teacher at Santa Maria High School. He helps raise club lambs in Nipomo with his former ag teacher, Dale Peterson. He is married to his wife, Heather, and they have 2 children, Maylee and Matt. Again, this is the advanced showmanship market goats. We have Ivan Hernandez, Milagros Hidalgo, Jen Valenzuela, and Jessica Velasquez. And with showmanship, it's how well they're working with their animal, the knowledge of their animal, how well they're working as a team, getting their legs set up, bracing, eye contact.
Let's put our hands together and show our appreciation for these 4 exhibitors in the ring, please. Really a nice job done by the 4 of them. Again, you heard from Mr. Flores as far as what kind of things are important in showmanship, and looking at these 4, they have the very basics down, and certainly they're doing a good job. And we're starting off with the advance, just from the standpoint of just being able to have them all in the ring at this time. Certainly all 4 of them have a fundamental of what they need to do and how to get their goats presented. Some little things as far as what you need to do, differences as far as how to make your goat presented and act a little bit more better as far as one than the other. And again, showmanship is just one of those things that it's one guy's opinion in terms of what preferences I might have. Those are the basics that Mr. Flores talked about, how well you and your goat work as a team, how well fitted your animal is, also really important as far as your demeanor and how your animal's behaving and how you're behaving. Those kind of things work together. And so, of course, you also got to have some knowledge about that. And so, Going with that, the young man that's closest to me, I'm going to go ahead and use him to win. So let's put our hands together. He's going to be your winner today. I think he's the one that gets the most out of this particular drive from this go standpoint. He does a nice job of setting them up. He gets the best brace on the go. He's also very well presented. I think that's what also accentuates that point for showmanship here. Just a really good, clean presentation. He gets a nice brace on him, good eye contact, travels the ring. If anything I could change a little bit about him is just maybe how he kind of moves around just ever so slightly at times. But I asked the top two individuals a question as if they knew what kind of dewormer they use, and so the young man couldn't tell me. And so that's one homework assignment that I'm going to give you to find out what's the dewormer that you need to use. The young lady in second, she knew right away, and so she said Safeguard. That's very popular for goats, and I think the difference between these two as far as the style, and again this is my preference, is I like the way the young man keeps his front legs on the ground as far as just presenting himself a little bit more natural. Some judges might like that standpoint of it being up, and it's not bad, but as far as there was a point where it was on the side and that goat was just kind of moving a little bit more excessive, and so both of them could be just a little bit more there, so there's some give and take. And again, at one point I had you winning, young lady. I was like, okay, you answered the question right. Then I started looking more and giving benefit of the doubt, and so at any given point in time, one is better than the other, okay? But right now, today's your preference for this young man, so you'll be first, young lady, you'll be second. Young lady in third probably is the quiet showman. She's the one that gets out here and really smooth, really calm, maybe needs to be a little bit more aggressive in the way she braces that goat. Her goat doesn't move, but a standpoint of it bracing, it doesn't have that brace like our top two individuals. And that's such an important thing in a market show, to make sure that that goat is trained, that he's pushing up against you so those muscles will flex. But as far as it being calm, set up, and really good eye contact, I like that about you, young lady. You did an excellent job. The young lady in fourth today, really smooth the way you handle yourself around the ring. It almost reminds me of the style of maybe like when you were showed dairy goats. Okay? And so that one point, just a personal preference. I remember me myself showing dairy goats in some of the shows when I was in high school, and you have that right look about you. Here for the market show, I want you to get a little bit more brace, just to be more aggressive in that standpoint, but you do an excellent job and you have a lot of ring awareness. So congratulations to you four. Let's put our hands together one more time for their efforts.
Yeah, we have the showmanship class winner, Ivan Hernandez. Ivan Hernandez is the class winner, showmanship champion. We have Jessica Velasquez in second place, Milagros in third place, Milagros Hidalgo in third place, and Jen Valenzuela in fourth place. Congratulations, guys. Again, as soon as you're done, if you haven't taken your picture, make sure you go through that. The food truck is ready to go. The food truck is ready to go. Again, making sure that you are social distancing, wearing your masks. Again, if you're parents, make sure that you're outside. Okay? And then now we have Novice, Zach Valenzuela, Alejandro Tinajero, and Joanna Angel. No, we put the Novice there. This is the Showmanship Novice class. We have 3 exhibitors. We have Zach Valenzuela, Alejandro Tinajero, and Joanna Rangel, showing for the first time junior age students. Again, they're getting judged on how well they work with their animal, their goat, the knowledge of the animal, being able to respond to those questions. Good luck, everyone. Again, thank you everyone for trying to follow the guidelines. Alex, Cornell, you can come over here. Again, we appreciate everybody for trying to do that. Again, after you're done with your showmanship show, if you want to go get food, please go do that. We have the tickets for students and exhibitors and volunteers and judges. You'll be there till 1 o'clock. Thank you.
All right, as we get into the novice division of the goat show, 3 good exhibitors here that have some fundamentals. We're going to elect to use the young man that's closest to me. He's going to be your first place winner. I think he has the fundamentals, absolutely. He's really good in terms of just having that ring awareness. I think that's super important to be able to know as a novice individual, to be able to be able to know where the goat is at, and how to control them, and to also just be able to have knowledge of being able to switch sides, to be able to have the presentation of the goat at all times. Keep the head up. I like the part that you go down and set up those legs and put them where you want them. That's really good. There's something that, of course, you can still work on is getting that brace, making sure that that goat gets stuck. And of course, that takes some time and it takes some training prior and preparation. Sometimes you get goats that just don't want to do it. But at the same time, I could see that someone's taken the time with you and you've been absorbing and listening of how to be able to show this goat and to be able to have control of it and to be able to do the basics and the fundamentals. And I think your consistency and to be able to have that good eye contact and the way you walk around the ring is what gets you the first place ribbon today. So congratulations to you, young man. Young lady that came in a little bit late, that goat doesn't want to walk. He doesn't, and so that one's just stubborn. But the part that impresses me the most about you is, I don't know if you guys can notice, but when she gets that goat stuck and braced, you look by far the best in the ring. That goat changes. I mean, and when we talk about showmanship as far as presenting that animal to the best of its ability, that goat changes, does a big 180. But it just standing right there doesn't look as very attractive, but when you get it braced up, that goat just changes, and so you get a lot of mileage out of that goat. So if you were to be able to walk and just get him that way, I think you could be in that first hold quite easily. The young man that's third today, he does a very basic, good job of trying to get that head up and making sure that he gets that goat in control. The one thing I want you to work on is making sure those legs are always squared up. Switch sides when you're able to do that. That way you can always give the judge the best view possible. But otherwise, you do a nice job, and I'm glad that you're in here and you're doing your best job. So congratulations to all three of you. Let's put our hands together as they exit the ring.
So the class winner goes to Zach Valenzuela. In second place, we have Joanna Rangel. In third place, we have Alejandro Tinajero. Congratulations, everyone. First call for novice market sheep. Come on up. Novice and juniors. Novice and juniors, come on up.
So the green lights. Oh, I don't. Bob, is it the red light up here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's on there.
Yeah. The red in the middle. Oh, right here. Okay. Let's see what it is.
Our judge today is Clemente Ayon. He's a graduate from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He is an ag teacher at Santa Maria High School. He helps raise club lambs in Napomo with his former ag teacher, Dale Peterson. He is married to his wife, Heather, and they have two children, Maylee and Max. Let's give him a round of applause, everyone. Everyone that's sitting around. Everyone, that's you, Alex, too. Thank you. Again, this class of novice and juniors, we have Jonathan Aguilar, Victoria Castellanos, Anaí Chavez, Eileen Coronel, Leslie Coronel, Simone Siles, Emma Flores, and Cassandra Tapia.
Gotta figure out how we can get more discs to this. It's something that has all the discs.
got green.
Again, this is the Novice Junior class of Showmanship. Again, how well they work with their animal as a team, knowledge of the sheep. We have Jonathan Aguilar, Victoria Castellanos, Anaí Chavez, Eileen Coronel, Leslie Coronel, Simone Siles, Emma Flores, Cassandra Tapia. Again, I wanted to take this time to also thank Bob Allen and Ron Merson, who are here with KDY-TV. We also have Kim Gregory here from Farm Bureau, who is also a sponsor of our show. Kim Gregory is here taking photography. Thank you for coming and joining us today. And then all of our volunteers that are here today, we wouldn't be able to do this. We have a lot of alumni, former students, parents, adults. Again, we appreciate you guys being here. We appreciate it, and this couldn't have been done without your help, so thank you again. Parents, I hope you're all out there okay. Make sure you have some water. If you need some water, we have some. So make sure you guys are okay.
All right, as we get into our novice showmanship for sheep here, so certainly these guys made it really challenging for me from top to bottom. Certainly whenever you get started in something, you're going to have some hiccups and some learning and some going through there. When they first came out, I was like, oh man, everybody's all over the place. And so we're trying to figure out some differences. And again, you start to try to prioritize as a judge, what are the things we're looking at? Do you have control of your sheep? Do you have control of yourself? Or do you have confidence in yourself? Do you have good eye contact? Do you blend in good with your animal? Those kind of things. And I think once we started to get some of the jitters out as we went through the contest, some of the stars started to shine just a little bit. And so it worked out that way. In fact, I think the young lady that's here closest to me, in my opinion, today, she's the one that kind of stood out. She's going to be your first place winner. She's certainly a young lady that as the contest progressed, she stuck with it. She's the one that she finally calmed down a little bit. She knew how to hold on to those legs and be able to set them up correctly, get that head up. She's the one that could brace that animal without it bouncing around and whenever I touched it. And so you persevered. Excellent eye contact, really good in those regards. Congratulations, young lady, on a nice job today. Young lady in second, you're another one that can brace that animal and make it look good. I think the difference is where I want you to have exact control of those legs. So set them up where they need to be instead of just kind of pushing them, because sometimes you do get it good and then sometimes they're a little bit off. So if you can go in there and put them exactly where you want them and then get it to brace, that would be perfect. And again, that's just a personal preference of mine. I don't mind if you could just lock it into place if it works every time. But if it doesn't, then you got to go in there and set it up. So, but otherwise, you have the same tenacity of that ring presence as the young lady in first. Just a little bit of differences there. Otherwise, you guys you could swap out at any given time. So, congratulations to you for being second. Young lady in third, really good and really smooth. She's one that also likes to push her lamb and get it locked in. She has one of those that's really easy to show from the standpoint of being really level. There was times where you had your lamb set up square. Other times those legs are just needed to be hand placed and ready to go. But that sheep's head is up, and your eye presence is good. Just subtle differences in terms of getting it braced harder than these two young ladies, and so you got to be a little bit more consistent. Young lady in fourth does a smooth job of getting that lamb braced up and on the move. Difference is that she wants to move a little bit too much when it gets braced up, and it wants to just kind of fight you a little bit more. And so as far as your ring presence, and once you get it locked in, really, really good. And so that sheep just needs to be calmer and stay still just a little bit more. And right now it's doing good, but as far as when I had you on the sideline, that sheep wasn't set up as consistently, and it needed to be just a little bit more. Then the young lady, a little quiet showman, the one in fifth. I like her from the standpoint of just being really kind of nonchalant, cruising around. But the top five, she's the one that needs to have just a little bit more show presence and to have more eye contact, a little bit more confidence in that. But as far as having the fundamentals down, you do a nice job. I'll talk to the other three as far as what they can do and to improve. Showed a couple of the young ladies of how to switch sides and to be able to hold that head up a little higher. Hopefully they can improve. Hopefully that you guys will come back next year, and that way we have a show and be able to improve every single time. So congratulations. Let's give them one more big round of applause as they ask for them.
Again, congratulations to our winners. In first place, we have Anaí Chavez. So excited she let her lamb go. In second place, we have Leslie Cornell. In third place, we have Eileen Cornell. In fourth place, we have Emma Flores. In fifth place, we have Victoria Castellanos. Congratulations, everyone. Jonathan Aguilar, I can't see that far. Simone Stiles is out there. And Cassandra Tapia. Good job, everybody. Class 1 of the advanced class, Showmanship.
What's that?
Again, for those of you that are waiting for food, the food truck will be here till 1 o'clock. All exhibitors have a ticket. Parents, you can purchase food over there, but the exhibitors get a free pass. Volunteers, judges, so they'll be out there until 1 o'clock. Well. You're the one that took them away? You're the one that took them away? Oh It was nice and cool with the... Emma. Sorry. Turn around.
Let's put our hands together and show appreciation for this first class of the advanced division. Certainly, the three individuals over here to my left certainly showed a little bit more control in terms of how they get their sheep presented, as far as getting their top lines up, as far as making sure that their animals are braced up and their heads are high. A couple individuals over here to my right, like the young lady towards the front, really smooth in terms of the way she holds her head. Just needs to make sure that she gets a little bit more drive out of that lamb to get it braced up in comparison to the other top three. The four individuals behind her, they just had a little harder time in terms of making sure those legs are set up and those animals are braced up and not moving quite as much. Those are just the consistently more ones that when I look at them, they just have a little bit more control of them. But we'll see what the future brings for those three as we bring into the next class. Let's put our hands together as they exit the ring. We'll have them come in the final round.
Again, the winners of this class is Jocelyn Coronel, Luis Martinez, and Gabriel Lemos. Let's give them all a round of applause. Congratulations. You'll come back for the final round after the next class.
Dump yeah, you also got over there.
Again, for those of you who haven't, for those of you that haven't gone to get food, the food truck is parked right outside the gate. So if you want to head out there and get some food, make sure you take your ticket. Again, this is the advanced class, Showmanship Class 1. We have Class 2, Gus Montiel, Brandon Ramirez, Angel Guerrero. Class 2, Alondra Ramirez, Yair Siles, Jordan Zavala, and Elijah Flores. Again, if you place the top 3 in the first class, you're coming back for the final round.
All right, let's put our hands together for this class of exhibitors. For the second class, really, I elected to use these top 3 over here. I'm going to invite them to come back or to stay in the ring, and then we'll bring in the 3 from the previous class and we'll work those. Again, nothing to take away from these 4. Some subtle things that need to happen just as far as being a little bit more aggressive, making sure those lambs are set up, getting a good brace on them. You have the fundamentals of switching sides and making sure that your lamb is fairly calm. Just got to make sure that those legs are squared up at all times. Just what we see just a little bit more consistently with these 3 exhibitors. But again, nice job. Let's put our hands together one more time as they exit the ring, and we'll bring in the 3 and work them the final round.
Motivate the kids to do well and continue reaching for that goal. And again, we are thankful for all the supporters, Mr. Rayon, Mr. Dodson for coming out here, all the supporters getting everything videotaped. And again, we wouldn't be able to do this without the support. And so again, we appreciate him for being here today. And he will go ahead and just pick the advanced champion. Thank you.
Go back a long way. Get off from the start.
Again, making sure that we're following the guidelines. You guys spread out a little bit more, please. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and show our appreciation for these exhibitors. Certainly done a wonderful job of competing in here in this nice warm temperature. Those are our top 2 individuals. I haven't placed them yet. They need to work a little harder, so we're going to let them work just a little bit more. We'll talk 3rd through 7th while they work a little more, and I'll watch them. 3rd place, young man, nice job. You usually come out here and you have the very good fundamentals down. You get right around that sheep as far as being able to set it up. I think as you came into this round, you did much better than the first round. Just calmed yourself, the sheep is calm, this top line is leveler, you do a smooth job with it. I think the differences between you and these top 2 is they're maybe just a little bit more, have more finesse. They get down there, set those legs just exactly where they need to be. Yours are just a little bit more inconsistent. Otherwise, you do a fabulous job. 4th place, young lady that won the novice, she's going to be really, really good down the line. You look at her, the way she shows around the ring, just fantastic as far as her demeanor. That little sheep wants to just squat down. And so that's not necessarily your fault, but it's a team effort. And so that's where kind of the breaks are. And so when I compare them to the other top 3, it's challenging for me to get you up any higher. Otherwise, your work ethic is awesome. And so I want to commend you for that. Young man in 5th, he's one that when he came into his heat class, he's the one that stuck out as far as having that smoothness, the way he travels the ring, his demeanor as far as his eye contact. Just over here, I think you give up a little bit of getting your lamb set up and making sure that it doesn't want to move quite as much. Same could be said for the next young man. His lamb has the tendency to want to roach up just a little bit more. Sometimes you get a better brace out of it, but at the same time, he's bracing so hard that he roaches up and he doesn't look quite as good. Otherwise, you do a smooth job in making sure that you have your consistency around the way you move your animal, the way it walks with you. Young lady, you were rounding out the class. Fantastic job of being very smooth and calm and collected, but at times it could be to a fault where sometimes I need to get you a little bit more aggressive at getting that lamb braced up. Otherwise, it's fantastic. Let's put our hands together for 3rd through 7th. Something a nice job for them. The top 2 individuals over here, there's some similarities to them. If you look at them, they're very good in terms of the way they brace their animals. The things that I see about them is they both can go down there and hand set their legs and put them exactly where they want them. They have a little bit more tenaciousness as far as making sure that it gets just perfect. I think there's some differences about him. The young man, at times his top line can be ever so slightly just a little bit loose, but he gets a pretty good look at him. Once he gets stuck, it takes him maybe just a little bit longer, but I like that he doesn't give up and he's going in there and he has a good eye contact. Young lady, you do a nice job of getting that lamb stuck. At times when you get out on the move, your lamb kind of wants to just move a little so often, a difference. But I mean, as far as once you get braced up right there and you get that, you blend in really so nicely with that sheep, it's really pretty hard for me to fault anything else. Today, everybody, I just want to be able to let you guys know that we're very appreciative of you guys inviting us. I'm very thankful to Mr. Flores and everybody to having this show, because not everybody is having these type of things, and it's wonderful. So much effort and my appreciation goes out to everybody for being able to help these youngsters. It's been a pleasure. Today, the young man is going to be second, the young lady is going to be first. Congratulations.
In first place, Jordan Zabala. In second place, Brendan Ramirez. In third place, Elijah Flores. In fourth place, Anaí Chavez. And in fifth place, Luis Martinez. Sixth place, Gabriel Lemos. And seventh place, Jocelyn Coronel. Congratulations, everybody. And just a token of our appreciation, we wanted to give you a small gift, Mr. Ayon. Actually, I gotta get you a Lamb Fair Strong hat, but I will get you that. Otto & Sons Nursery donated a hat. And one of our local growers, Kimball Avocados, gave you a nice gift box of avocados. But again, thank you very much, guys. Please let's give them a round of applause for being here today. Mr. Ayon, Mr. Dodson. Thank you very much, guys. Again, if you're the winner, quick picture before he leaves. Again, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it.